Abundance Games Teachers. This is chapter your personal chapter 6, your personal lecture video number 6. This is the second in the second video of the second part, which is fear of abundance. The previous video was the one that I asked you, what are you afraid of? Get to know your fears better. Unless you acknowledge your fear, you won't be able later to create more courage towards abundance. So you first need to know what you're afraid of and do your best to reduce denial about your fears, avoiding acknowledging them. We need to know them because they are part of our work and of the change that we would like to create here. Many of the reasons for you not to be as abundant as you may be able to are related to your fears. And as long as you are not aware of them, you can do nothing about it. So, here is chapter 6. Your fears represent part of your abundance. And if you're not aware of them, you have no access to important parts of your abundance. You are not aware of the places where your abundance is blocked, cannot move, or even features of your abundance that may be totally obscure to you. You may not be able to realize that they exist as long as you don't see these road signs of fear and knock at that doors and ask who is there inside, because you are there inside, but you cannot meet that part in you that is able to expand your abundance unless you get to know your fears. And when we say that abundance is about getting to know our having, which is a lifetime work, and expanding our having, we say that our having also includes our fears, our anxiety, and things that we are intimidated from, things that we avoid, things that you were scared of, that we prevent ourselves from meeting them. They are part of us, and it is so important to say it because the usual tendency with things that are frightening and at the same time painful, the usual tendency is to keep distant from them, not to get closer, because they're not pleasant, they're not nice, they're not warm, they're not harmonious. It's hard for me to cope with them. I don't feel that competent to work with my fears. Why should I? And I can understand, it is quite normal. We all do our best to avoid the painful places, the frightening places. It is natural, it is understandable, it is legitimate. But because we're here, especially if you want to be a teacher, and in our quest that is aimed at reconnecting to our abundance, heal our souls through freeing them into their abundance, we have to go there. Slowly, gradually, we don't need to flood ourselves, but we may want to embrace some adventurous state of mind, even a little bit playful, and with these attitudes, with these skills, to approach our fears, to say, hello, I would like to know more about my fear because this is part of my abundance. And this may be a very refreshing change, because you may regard your fears as your weaknesses, as the place that you rather not go because you don't know how to function there. Yes, it may represent things that since childhood you weren't able to approach, to change, to do something about it, to cope, to heal. And you may still feel paralyzed about getting there again and opening this closed old book of your true fears. And I can understand we are all in the same boat. We all have these fears they are like a Pandora box that we wouldn't like to open. So I'm saying that we do it slowly and gradually, but we need to realize that we have many important treasures over them. Some of our diamonds of abundance are waiting for us to be discovered, and they are hidden behind some fears. And unless we go to our fears, we cannot find these diamonds, and we cannot get in touch to the abundance that we feel that exists inside. So there's no other way. You need to know, when you meet your fear, you need to know that this is a road sign. It's a road sign. This is a representation of your abundance. So in time, gradually, you may change your attitude, if needed, towards your fears, and you will ask to see them. You will seek for them. You will go on some internal spiritual journeys and search for your fears, because there are many treasures hidden just beneath the cover of your fears. And you're about to be abundance teacher. So you need to be ahead of your students as much as possible. So this is the work you do with yourself in this very early stage of the process. It is time for you to get in touch with your fears, to realize that they hide something very precious, very positive for you. And without knowing how to do it, just get closer. And when you get closer, just bear in mind there are some good things over there for you to release, to set free, and to enable yourself to move in much more flexibility in this arena of creating abundance. Without doing so, you will stay restricted and you won't even understand why. So, this is my request from you. Get to know that your fears are part of your abundance. Start moving towards them slowly, gradually. Just open your heart. Just leave no room for your fears and ask them to step inside and hug them with energy of love and abundance. Later in this process, we will be able to reduce the load of these fears, to question their validity, and most importantly, to find the good things that are hidden behind them and give them light, expand them, and help them finally join your abundance.